Okay. So this event is another milestone in this
मैंने एक
direction.
agenda भेजा हूँ,
So
उसको download कर लो.
the agenda of this event was also very well thought through by the members jointly with Logistics Insider, taking the most relevant and the pertinent topics of the event, considering the challenges that supply chains face in the industry, and also keeping in mind how the environment is changing for the business or the supply chain, right? Also, startup challenge, which is part of this event. Okay, this is another, first of its kind, right? And again, it showcases our commitment to the startups community to give them the platform for showcasing their innovation, giving them the feedback, etc. Uh, Once again, welcome to all of you. We hope you will gain from the engaging sessions that we have during the day and all the events that we have planned for you. It's also a great opportunity for networking. I'm sure which you will make best use of that. And also, participants who are not CVSCL members as of now, would request them to consider being part of the CVSCL group so that we can expand our thought leadership to to as many people in the supply chain community as possible. Thank you very much.
And now we have Mr. Parekh to formally welcome everyone present here and those watching this live. Please give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everyone, I will keep it short since we already running today. Well, firstly, to sharing the stage with the Joint Secretary of Mr. Yashpal Sharma and Mr. Ashish Medesa. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome each and every one of you present here virtually to the India Supply Chain Conference 2023. We are delighted to have you all here to share the latest developments and industry insights within the supply chain field. As we all know, the supply chain is a critical component of any business and it's important to stay up to date on the latest trends and best practices. Today's event will provide a platform for experts and industry leaders alike to share their knowledge and experience and for attendees to network and learn from one another. We have an exciting lineup of panel discussions to be joined by experts from different areas of expertise who will share their insights on topics ranging from logistics and transportation to technology and sustainability. We will discuss the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for the industry and provide valuable insights on how to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of supply chain. I'm also excited for the supply chain challenge scheduled for later. I'm positive that this event will provide you with valuable insights and inspiration to take back to your own organizations. Thank you all for being here, and I look forward to a unique and enlightening event. Please enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Parekh. Well, it is now time for the opening remarks. So I request Mr. Yashpal Sharma to please take the mic.
Dr. Anwar, Ashish, Parekh, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to meet you here and address all of you at this very important topic that has been set up, future-proofing the supply chains. Well, last 3 years have been very interesting, full of uncertainties. Right from this decade when it began with a lot of hope, we saw it completely go down with the pandemic hitting the whole world, bringing the various supply chains of the world to a complete halt. We all started to re-energize ourselves, started to live and create supply chains which would probably last us through the pandemic. Various changes were made all around the world, from the way we produce, the way we source raw material, the way we store raw material, the way we move raw material, and in the end, after production, the finished goods to the customers. A lot has changed from the last decade to now. The future supply chains need to be more and more resilient. They need to be more adaptive. They need to be more agile.
because uncertainties are just not going away from what we saw last year in terms of what happened in CIS, the war between Russia and Ukraine, also bringing a lot of uncertainty to various supply chains of the world. So we never know what things could go wrong from here. So it's very important that a group like this, where the customers and the logisticians come together and also have the presence of the government to understand what we need to do to ensure that the supply chains of India are able to compete with the supply chains of the world. The entire world is looking at India as one of the options of when we call the China Plus One policy that various buyers are trying to adopt. But India will be a story which will win only when our supply chains win. Our supply chains need to compete with the supply chains of other manufacturing countries of the world so that we are able to get a decent share. While the government is doing a lot in terms of boosting manufacturing and also doing their bit in terms of the logistics infrastructure in the country, but it will all need to come together as one to make sure that we create an ecosystem which awes the different consumers of the world and they choose India to be their manufacturing hub. Let's all discuss today a few of these things. I'm sure the deliberations today by various panels will be very interesting. I wish you all a very, very knowledgeable session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yashwant, for those truly inspiring words. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Dr. Anwar to take the stage and present the keynote address. Please give him a big round of applause.
Very good morning to you all. Namaskar. And मेरे ख्याल से जय हिंद है, आप भी में बोलोगे तो अच्छा होगा. But anyways, जय हिंद. It's really a pleasure to be among the leaders of the supply chain sector, and that too with a lot of vision, the visionary leaders, and all of them are insiders. Good to even understand that we all are insiders of the logistics sector and talking in-house with an open mind and open doors. And it's a real wonderful opportunity which we should make best use of. And at the outset, I would like to first congratulate the sponsors or the initiators of this, organizers of this conversation, which you're calling as ISCON or the first edition of ISCON. It sounds religious, but I think it is as business-like as well. So it's a good mix. I mean, intellectualism, knowledge, and experience of the practitioners. Wonderful idea and good to have at a very appropriate time, which we are passing through. On a topic like future proofing the supply chains, absolutely relevant subject, or you can say flavor of the season. Every conversation today, whether in business or in social, domains, when we try to get into the brass tacks or to the brass tacks, it boils down to only talking about supply chains or chains. Right? We have seen the times of crisis which has affected the world and entire humanity for that matter, and we are still passing through the crisis which is more man-made, right, than made to the man itself. So there's a Ukraine crisis we're passing through, and the experience that we have gained during our previous last two years, and the experiences which we are gaining from such geopolitical crisis as Ukraine, and just making us realize that to move forward as humanity or to take forward business interests and sustain this activity on a long-term and relatively longer-term basis, I think we should be talking about the supply chain. And as experience goes, there have been a couple of realizations, very important realizations from the times of crisis, while facing or going through the crisis. One is that there's a need to focus on supply chain as a whole, just not talking about supply chains or just mentioning supply chain and blaming it for every and any problem which we are facing in the business. But talking, through greater dissection and talking in detail, like we are going to do today. And if you look at the supply chain as a domain or as a phenomena, and dissect it from the purpose of, for its purpose as well as for its components, I think if I look at the purpose of supply chain is to ensure just-in-time delivery and maybe also just with a just cost, right? And now the added element is also to deliver or ensure delivery in situation like just in case, like the crisis situation we have. So this is another element which is added and which is challenging us to ensure a greater robustness in the supply chains and develop that endurance in the supply chains to overcome such crisis times which we have seen or we are going through. And if we further look at the more dynamic component or the components of the supply chain, there are two major components. One is the source of the goods, another is the point of consumption or points of consumption. And in between lies the chain of logistics. And this is such a component which is neither having a fixed locus or a fixed behavior. While the two ends can be called as having at least a fixed locus and to a great extent predictable also. But the chain component which we are generally dealing with or into, it's actually very, very unpredictable with no fixed locus and going through many times lots of uncertainties which need to be overcome through very innovative methods. Now, during last almost 1 year or maybe more than that, while we were going through the pandemic, we were of course grappling with the crisis and therefore thinking about the crisis management. But post that, when there was kind of a respite, we started thinking about reinforcing, strengthening, bringing more resilience in the supply chains. And if you look at the conversation which goes on globally, even at the government level, we understand 2/3 of the policy initiatives globally during the last 1 year have been about bringing the measures, or they're talking about the resilience in the global supply chain, right? And probably India in that way is a leader. Probably we had kind of a premonition in 2018-19, and we started thinking about this resilience component and to set up such mechanism in the country through policy initiatives which can bring about the robustness in the global supply chain or the domestic supply chain. Because even the global supply chains start from the national supply chains, the domestic supply chains. So it was way back in 2018, India also started thinking about doing something to the logistics sector, the most dynamic component of the supply chains. And the first resolution, which the policy initiative or declaration, to say, in 2018-19 was made by taken by the government of India, and the declaration was one single line to have a focused approach and to ensure integrated development of the logistics sector. Now, this is a very loaded statement which includes both the components of the logistics sector, infrastructure as well as the services component or the processes component. And since then, we have been working on it, and for this working on this work, and to the same declaration, Government of India also created initial institutional arrangement in form of the logistics division which you hear about today. This was created in year 1718, and then this division, which was earlier created in Department of Commerce under the same ministry, and later shifted to Department of Industries, has been assigned with this task of bringing about the integrated development in the logistics sector through the measures which we can call as policy measures or the actions by the government. And incidentally, the logistics insider also already started around that time, right? So good to know that, and I feel like you guys are great insiders of the logistics sector. So we can be having this brainstorming on how can we go about to make it more robust. So that was in 2018, and then in 2021, we made the biggest announcement in form of PM Gati Shakti, and PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan to be more precise. And in 2022, last year in September, we also came out with National Logistics Policy. Now, both these initiatives one looks at the infrastructure component, and the looks at the processes or the services component, and having a common thread, which we call as an approach or the whole of the government approach, which brings together the entire government. And when we say government, we also mean all the departments of government of India who have anything to do with the logistics sector, and also the state governments or the union territories administration. They all are coming together under these two initiatives. And today we have, besides PM Gati Shakti institutional arrangement, going, all over the nation, like having central government institutions and the technology platform. It all also goes up to the states and duties. And similarly, while we had a national logistics policy notified in the year 2022 in September, the states also today have the state logistics policies. Most of the states today have either their own state logistics policy notified, or they are in process of notifying the state. Right. And they are also working on the digital components which are required for making the services more efficient in the logistics sector. So if we talk about PM Gati Shakti and how this is helping the logistics sector and its integrated development, I can tell you this is the global best practice today, and we are definitely a leader in the world in adopting such an approach, which is very technology enabled, which is enabling the government at any level and every level to take decision based on the data. Today, the decision about infrastructure projects or development projects is just not taken on subjective basis or the understanding of an individual, but basis the data, basis the suggestions or options generated by the technology enabled platform. And on this National Master Plan, many of you might be aware, we have the GIS coordinates of every infrastructure asset in the country, whether created on the ground or it is lying underground. And when I say underground infrastructure, it includes all pipelines related to the gas, the slurry, water supply, sewers, cables, OFC, or even the power cables, right? All that infrastructure underground that's mapped to the GIS coordinate. And then every other infrastructure, be it road, railways, terminals, multimodal logistics parks or terminals, uh, we depots, these economic nodes, or even social infrastructure, everything today is mapped on this National Master Plan. And besides this, the digital platform, which has entire data set, there is also an institutional arrangement at the highest level, which we are calling as the Power Group of Secretaries, headed by the Cabinet Secretary. It has 24 ministries represented by the principal secretaries, deliberating on this aspect and maybe taking policy decisions about infrastructure development. And below that, there's a critical level called Network Planning Group. So the 7 infrastructure ministries, departments have come together, represented by their planning heads, right? And this group, evaluates every plan having a value or estimated cost of more than 500 crores, being proposed by any one infrastructure department. And these projects are thoroughly dissected, evaluated, and then in a very time-bound manner, the suggestions, modifications, and improvements are suggested to the approving authority. And then the projects are, being called as conforming to the Gati Shakti principles. And when I say Gati Shakti principles, that means they are more multimodal, they are providing last mile connectivity, they are having their optimal alignment undertaken or chosen. They also have the implementation problems, foreseen and resolved in each such project. So these projects are evaluated from every perspective, which is possible and which is relevant, and then the projects are being improved. This has also helped us in, reducing the time of project development activities, which would have involves surveying, feasibility study, do the DPR and all, which would have taken 6 months to sometimes 1 year, maybe more than 1 year also. Today, that activities being done in just a matter of 15 days or maybe a month's time. Even the survey, sometimes better than the physical actual survey, is done just on the National Master Plan, the digital platform. And of course, it is followed by a ground truthing exercise. So that's another month's exercise maybe. So when that project development activity has been filtered, been rationalized, and been made much better today, and more efficient as well, which is giving us a lot of results in form of saving of time and saving the cost. It also foresees any factor which may, at the implementation phase, lead to escalation of the cost of the project and then results at the planning stage itself. So this is how in last 1 year this entire mechanism has been put in place, activated, and it is yielding results today. And we today can, post about the system, which is helping us in, efficiently managing, planning, or administrative infrastructure projects. So this is one initiative. Another major initiative, which was under, kind of a work in progress stage from 2018 itself. That is also into a national logistics policy last year, I said. And this takes care of the processes of the sector, the logistics sector. And here also we have adopted a whole government approach. All the departments, including customs, or railways, or roadways, or ports, whatever, including the warehousing sector as well, all have been brought into one single umbrella through institutional mechanism called service improvement group, which is created or to be created or in just a couple of days maybe under the national logistics policy. The national logistics policy also, defines an action plan for development of the logistics sector, takes care of various processes, and definitely promotes adoption of digital technology for the logistics processes. So these are some of the initiatives, the broader initiatives, I mean, the details of it, my colleagues will be talking about in subsequent sessions. And then, of course, you guys also will be having good amount of information on this. So we have seen all this and what the government is expected to do, basis the feedback from the industry, from the academia, and from other stakeholders within the government also. We have been doing it, sincerely doing it, and hope that these initiatives would give a definite boost to the sector. It will ensure the sector to become more robust to deal such shocks or endure the crisis times and do not get into the disruption. However, it is just not the government or the public at large who can, bring about this efficiency or build trust in the system. I think a larger role still is of the private sector. The larger role is still to be played by the leaders, as you all know, of the logistics sector. Right? And since, especially the services component, hugely lies in the private sector domain, and therefore scaling or reorienting that component of the logistics sector, I think for this larger responsibility is on the private sector. So where you have been making demands earlier and we have been responding to it through various policy measures, today I want to appeal to the private sector and all the logistics service providers on either on the consumption side or on the supply side, right, to also adopt a reformist agenda. We have seen the bad times, the crisis times, where probably maybe the gentleman out here might have not indulged into that, but we have seen the animal side of the behavior. The freight rates have gone very high. There was no justification for increasing freight rate by 600%, and we keep blaming the foreign companies, but we cannot, exclude ourselves from that, and we cannot just, not share the blame as well, because we have been collaborating with those foreign agencies or the logistics service providers who have been indulging in such definitely irrational, unfair practices. Now, for this, as a consequence, we have seen it is not only there's been an increase in the cost of logistics, there's not only been increase in the prices of the goods which have been, which have passed through the logistics system. But let me also tell you, we have lost the trust of the people at large in a big way. We have to be thinking about building or rebuilding that trust. And for rebuilding that trust, I don't think this market mechanism can be anyways driven by the government. This market can only be self-driven, self-regulated. And for that, I think the visible leaders of the logistics community should sit together, have a brainstorming session, and sessions rather, and think about what can be the reformist agenda we can have. And if I am to suggest some of it, I think we should be looking at or keeping building trust on a higher priority than making more margins or looking at higher margins. Because higher margins may, fetch you quick, huge returns, but the loss at the relatively longer time is also very huge. And that is lost to the sector. Maybe an individual's gains, but loss to the sector, which will also reflect finally into the loss of the individuals also. So I would just request you all to think about it and initiate some reformist agenda, adopt some principles, have some some value systems, some benchmarks, which can bring about some sanity in the market, which can, regulate this wider aspect of the market, which is manifest during the humanity crisis to the humanity we have witnessed during the last 2 years. And with this appeal and the hope that we are going to have, similar situation in future, and with the hope that the leaders would do their bit and help India also finally build into a stronger nation through robust, resilient supply chains, and pose yourself as, or our country as an alternative to China, and become that one, the plus one of the China Plus strategy. Thank you very much, and all the very best for success of this conference, this initiative. And I will be joined by the subsequent sessions by my colleagues, so they will be further learning from you and understanding what are your problems which we can intervene and resolve, and of course sharing our thoughts as well with you all. Thank you very much once again, and thank you also for having me here amongst you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Listening to Dr. Anilwar, I was thinking that the Indian economy is definitely rising at a very, very high speed. And to ensure that the flight is not disrupted, a well-oiled supply chain mechanism is necessary. And with leaders like yourself, Dr. Anilwar, I think that the industry will get the required support to grow and move ahead. Now, as we end the inaugural session, it's time to honor our chief guest, and I request Mr. Harshit Srivastava, co-founder and CEO of NTG, to come on the stage, and Mr. Nandalata to join him and felicitate Dr. Anilwar. Please give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Harshit Srivastava, co-founder and CEO of NTG, and Mr. Nandalata. Let's give them a big round of applause for Dr. Anilwar and taking time today to be with us. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You may sit down and take your seats and be comfortable. This is a memento we have presented to Dr. Anilwar. Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time for us today. Right. You can get to your seats and get comfortable, sir. Alright, so moving on, the importance of supply chains was realized at a higher pedestal as COVID-19 took the world hostage and everything came to a screeching halt. But look at us today. We are standing strong and we are standing taller. The supply chain and logistics sector of India has evolved at an unprecedented speed and with great valor. And what is the best part? We are not done yet. The focus remains on building a resilient supply chain which is agile enough to withstand the curves of boom and gloom. मुझे लगता है जैसे हमारी बॉडी में एक सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम का होना बहुत जरूरी है और उसका ढंग से फंक्शन करना भी बहुत जरूरी है, वैसे ही हमारे देश की होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट के लिए जरूरी है एक एफिशिएंट और रेजिलिएंट सप्लाई चेन नेटवर्क। हमारा ब्रेन हमें हेल्प करता है हमारे आसपास की चीजों के साथ इंटरैक्ट करने के लिए, आसपास के लोगों के साथ इंटरैक्ट करने के लिए, लेकिन अगर बैक स्टेज जाके देखा जाए तो हमारा ब्रेन पहले हमारे हमारे इंटरनल ऑर्गन से, हमारे इंटरनल सिस्टम से इंटरेक्ट करता है, और जितना कारगर हमारा इंटरनल कनेक्शन होगा, उतना ही ज्यादा अच्छे से हम अपने आसपास के एनवायरनमेंट के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर पाएंगे। बिल्कुल उसी तरह जितना स्ट्रॉन्ग हमारा डोमेस्टिक लॉजिस्टिक सिस्टम और लॉजिस्टिक्स नेटवर्क होगा, उतना ही कारगर हमारा इंटरेक्शन होगा बाकी की दुनिया के साथ। इंटरनेशनल सप्लाई चेन के साथ साथ हमें ये भी इंश्योर करना होगा कि हमारे टियर 1 सिटीज, टियर 2 और टियर 3 टाउन्स के साथ एफिशिएंटली कनेक्टेड हो। As consumption patterns in India have gone through a sea of change, smaller towns and even rural areas are now increasingly indulging in a lifestyle that requires the region's logistics ecosystem to constantly stay on its toes. From Blinkit and Swiggy to Amazon and Myntra, from big established corporates to newly trending D2C brands, everyone is in demand when it comes to India's tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to what you have been looking forward to. It's time for our first panel discussion, which will be woven around satiating the supply chain needs of Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. I'd also like to inform everyone that the panel discussion will continue for 65 minutes, after which 10 minutes are allotted for questions and answers. Alright, let's welcome our moderator for the session with a big round of applause, Mr. Chetan Kumriya. He is the Managing Director of Excel Supply Chain Solutions, a board member of CVSCL and a supply chain professional with experience that spreads through automotive engineering, consumer electronics, logistics, healthcare, and food and beverage industry. Give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now that we have our moderator on stage, let's call upon our esteemed speakers. I request you to please keep the applause going as I announce the name. Mr. Ashish Pandey, Head Supply Chain South Asia Nestle. Mr. Pandey leads one of the most diverse and competitive supply chains in FMCG and has hands-on working experience in establishing upstream and downstream supply chain systems, processes, and KPIs. Mr. Dharmesh Srivastava, Vice President Supply Chain Agrotech Foods, with more than 25 years of experience with brands like Gillette, P&G, and Con Agro Foods in India, UK, Dubai, and Singapore. He is also the founding member and part of the governing body of CVSCL. Please give him a big round of applause. We now have Mr. Yashpal Sharma. He is the Managing Director at Skyways Group and believes in effective partnerships to serve the supply chains of the world. His colleagues highly endorse him for his exceptional skills in freight forwarding and supply chain management. Please give him a big round of applause. Next up, we have Ms. Shirisha Joshi Gangopadhyay, Deputy Secretary Logistics, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. She is the nodal officer for PM Gati Shakti, apart from which her responsibilities include national logistics policy, green logistics initiatives, international and exim-related issues pertaining to logistics. Next, we have Mr. Vishal Kothari, Director, Ethics Group. For more than 2 decades, he has contributed to and gained from various segments, including supply chain management, business development, and strategic planning, and is popularly enriched with working as national as well as international environments. Please give him a big round of applause. And last but not least, we have Mr. Karthik Shah, Regional Manager, APAC Logistics and Advisor. Mr. Shah is a performance-driven supply chain professional with over 20 years of experience in diverse logistics management, inventory management, customs, process improvement, etc. And we he ensures cost and lead time reduction in delivering business goals. Thank you so much, everyone. Please give them a round of applause. And Mr. Kumriya, you have the lead now.
Dear friends, delegates, very good morning to all of you. I would like to thank CVSCL for inviting me to moderate this esteemed panel on this very interesting topic, which will strengthen the supply chain for the future of India in the rural areas, tier 2, tier 3. I think it is very important for us to take cognizance of the fact that these will be the future of India. I would like to welcome all of our panel members, and I would like to, start the panel discussion. As we go along the panel, I would like you all to be participatory. I would like you all to be interactive with each of the panel members, that we can, share our thoughts as well as, get your thoughts into our, future journey of supply chain care. So I think, when we talk about tier 2, tier 3 towns, I also come from a tier 2 town. And I believe most of us sitting in this room would be coming from this tier 2 cities. So we all know it, and we've all seen how these cities, these areas have been able to, move from past 20, 25 years, what labor, connectivity, business, and how businesses there are happening. Just to give you a little bit of background, 70% of human
वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दो
30% in urban areas, 15% in the tier 1 cities, and another 16% in the tier 2, tier 3. There are about 730 odd districts in India, 8 tier 1 cities, and 104 tier 2. So that's the whole demographics of the
how this is spread. Now, if you look at the retail expenditure amongst these cities, about 45% is contributed by the urban areas and 55% is contributed by the rural areas. So imagine the possibility of spend and logistics reach that we need to have in these rural and tier 2 areas. I remember I was based in Hong Kong some 20 years back, and I used to travel to China quite often. Because the company I used to work with had about 42 manufacturing plants in China. This was 2003-4. When I used to travel to cities like Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, of course, they were much ahead of time. But when I used to go to Tianjin, Dalian, Shenzhen, Suzhou, those cities itself were so well connected, and they were manufacturing hubs for the world then. To look at how China 20 years back had already developed a logistics network and strengthened their supply chains, and that is where they dominated the world, and they are still others. So for India, the ambition is the same as we go toward the 5 trillion dream economy. We also need to strengthen and connect with these tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well as the rural areas. And I think the time has come, like China did some 20 years back, we are on track to, do that. So as we move on to these connectivities, what we see is that the businesses in these towns and cities have started to emerge for a global basis. In fact, the consumption basis in these cities have also started to, increase. If you go to, tier 2 or tier 3 town in Uttar Pradesh, for example, right, the spending power, the affluence there has also increased, which means that they are also buying products, and the reach of every company needs to be there. Now, as the reach increases, what is the infrastructure there, and how do we, connect that infrastructure? I think this is what we will have to, deliberate and discuss in this panel, and I would like to, position my thoughts to all the esteemed panel members and take their views on few important questions that we can answer. So,
I think starting with the infrastructure development under the Gati Shakti program that Dr. Hariwar spoke about, and the government of India is working so closely with, where the development of national highways and connectivity between tier 2, tier 3 cities through multimodal logistics, etc. is happening. I would like to ask Nan about her thoughts on this very important, topic where policy and the infrastructure development, how will it aid to strengthen the supply chain of the future?
Very important, everyone. I was really hoping that I was giving such a wonderful introduction. I'll be the last to answer the question in the panel. But nevertheless, so thank you for the question. As I was already mentioned, when we are talking about Shakti or National Resource Policy, which are the two main initiatives from the government of India, we're talking about whole of government approach. The idea is not to cater to the development of the supply chain or the infrastructure development in only the industrial area or the manufacturing hub or the bigger cities, but the idea is to have seamless connectivity to each and every area so that we can discuss and what we keep saying that we have a very high logistic cost in our country. So what we want to aim and do is reduce that logistic cost. It is never going to happen if you are going to concentrate your infrastructure development to only few areas. So that is the approach which we are taking. We are talking about a holistic development. We are talking about a multimodal development. We want industry to have a choice. We want the common people of India to have a choice that if they want to take a decision that which mode of transportation they would like to pick for movement of any kind of goods, then all that is available. Most of the time, right now, the connectivity, either it's there or not there, if it's there, it's by one mode of transportation. Generally, there is a lack of logistic infrastructure. As you move down to tier 2, tier 3 cities, the problem increases manifold. Most of the concentration of development has happened only around, the bigger cities or, for example, industrial hub or the industrial towns which have come up. But if you look at the spatial arrangement of let's say warehouses in the country, and if you look at the map of the country, you will find that they have been concentrating in few areas, and because of which there is a huge cost increase which has happened because they are not at most of the time situated where, for example, let's talk about agriculture and the temperature control warehouse. Most of the time, they complain that the availability of such warehouses is not where the production is actually happening, and then you lose a lot of your things in the movement of that particular vegetable, fruits, or whatever, even if you want to export them or for your internal consumption for that matter. So, what government is doing is that we can only facilitate. At the end, the groundwork has to come from the industry. It's you who will be investing in all that. But what we have to do is to make sure that it is good for your investment, it is very well connected infrastructure-wise, that if anyone wants to take such decision, you are not concentrated in particular area, but you are able to take decision and you are able to make investment in all the places in your country, whether it is northeast, whether it's the islands, or whether it's the Kashmir area, or whichever area. So we're talking about the overall.
Thank you so much. I think there are very interesting thoughts, and definitely would help the infrastructure strengthening in tier 3 and rural areas. Mr. Dharmesh, I would like to also ask you, because you have a vast network in these fields, working with your company, how do you see this, infrastructure development?
Yeah, so I come from the consumer goods industry and that too the foods industry. So our challenge is that we have to reach to the we are target is that we should be able to reach to all 140 crore Indians. That's our target. Our product should be able to reach each and everywhere. And the food industry, In the consumer goods, we want the product to reach fastest because the freshness of the product is very important. So I think that's our goal. And the infrastructure, of course, is very, very important as we know that especially the road infrastructure, because if we have to reach to the tier 2, tier 3, and even the rural areas to any of the outlets, which is currently the different numbers, has been given, but I think there would be 4 million to 5 million, the outlets from where, the kirana shops, you can say, or from the bigger stores to the kirana shops. Somewhere estimated number is 4 million to 5 million. And very few companies are able to reach from where the products can be bought by everybody. So I think that's the challenge, and the road infrastructure is definitely, I think it's very, very important because more than 90% of the logistics happens through the road. And the good thing is that we have seen in the last few years the quality of the road infrastructure has tremendously improved, which is national highways, the project which has been taken. The speed is there, and the especially the after the GST, the e-label, the whole automation which has happened. I think that has really eased a lot of actually the infrastructure issues to the industry. And our impact and our if we see the growth, I think the highest growth is coming actually from last 3 4 years. We are seeing is from the northeast and the Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, last 3 years we are seeing the highest growth is these are the two growth engines. In fact, we are finding is for our industry, and that shows how important is that two things I think for the industry. One is the peace and tranquility has to be there, and the second is the infrastructure. If these two things are there, then definitely I think the progress for the country, it brings progress for the country, for the industry, for everybody. And with the now with the social media and with the mass media has already been there, but with the social media, I think everybody aspires for the good quality of the products. That's the requirement, and then so I think the road infrastructure, I would say, whether it is a national road infrastructure or whether it is the state level or whether it is the local level. I think that's where I think we definitely we are seeing there has been an improvement, and we would like that the state and then the national government definitely spend this happens. I think certainly it is going to see the progress of the country. So I think that's my thought.
Well, I think excellent. I think as you mentioned about the Northeast and India and the local business, that clearly shows that the network and the regional infrastructure has really helped to get the products used. One more thought that I would like to get from you is what should be the ideal network for the reach to these tier 2, tier 3 and
So I would say there is no ideal network as such because different industry has its different challenges, different requirements. In fact, what we were doing earlier was that we were trying to reach the retailers to the typical FMCG supply chain, which is from the factory to the C&F phase and from C&F phase to the distributors and distributors to the retailers. We have been, traditionally have been doing it, but what we have seen is that to reach the tier 2 and tier 3 town, you actually have to have the right product. Reaching there, you get a volume. So in fact, now in the tier 2 and tier 3 towns, we are about shipping about 500, the full truckloads to these smaller towns now, because we have been and directly from the factory. So we have changed our infrastructure for many of these actually towns, and we are seeing that we are getting the volumes also, and as well as we are getting the but at a right there's a product mix has to be there. So that's speed is also there, cost is also come down. So it all depends actually from for the product from company to company, what is that the product is there. And with the GST now, I think it's You can ship it from anywhere to anywhere, so there is no restriction as I can give you of the GSC. So that has really, helped us a lot to improve our infrastructure, we as Dr. Rahil was saying that it has to be, supply chain has to be agile. There are the two things are fixed, one is the manufacturing mode and second is the consumption mode. But after that, what happens is I think there's an innovation which every supply chain manager has to make. So that's my thought on the, what kind of the distribution network can.
So thank you, thank you. There is no ideal network that I can get from your thoughts, it's very informative. I would also like to get, Mr. Kothari, your thoughts around this, because you work a lot in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So, what should be the ideal network in your mind? Because does any network really exist, or we need to build, or how do we go about it?
As far as ideal network design is considered, Mr. Srivastava rightly pointed out that there cannot be a fixed set of answer for all. There cannot be a one size fits all solution. It has to be customized based from the consumer side and from the brand side, the manufacturer side. Because different industries and different segments are going to have different challenges. Right? Say for example, the distribution network of white goods, consumer durables, refrigerators, washing machines, cannot be equivalent to that of apparels or footwear or FMCG products. Some might be requiring different handling capacity, some might be requiring different storage capabilities. So the solution has to be designed revolving around the consumer demands and the manufacturer capabilities. But one thing is for sure that in the entire scenario, there are two aspects that needs to be focused on. One is the consumer, who is actually raising the demand for the product, and on the other side there is a manufacturer who is fulfilling those needs. So everything in between has to be very rightly and very precisely aligned. So especially in case of a vast geography like India, which is vast in terms of size and also diverse in terms of culture. So we need to design a network, and we already have been working on it, because right now we are managing supply chain across almost 744 districts of our country. So we are reaching to 744 districts, and that is what we have seen and we have experienced. So we are building SOPs, we are building operational procedures, we are using a lot of IT and data to ascertain how network should be designed. So basically, we have categorized the movement of the goods, and accordingly, a network shall be designed.
Right. I think it's important, as you said, that the IT and network, have to be hand in hand to really define the, movement of goods. Okay, there is another, question that there is a rise in the logistics parks and modern warehousing in these tier 2 cities. Now, how is it enabling the, reach and growth to these cities and supporting the infrastructure development? So, Ashish, can I, get your thoughts on this? Because tier 2 towns, we've seen these, whether it's Rajpura, Lucknow, or, other tier 2 cities, you see that, A-class, as you say, grade 1 warehouses come up. Is it really enabling the growth, and how is the reach, more better now?
So, thank you for that question, and I think all of us have experienced this when the GST was implemented, and we had the opportunity as supply chain professionals to rehash our entire supply network. Before that, the supply network was guided by various taxes and CSC and all that. So, I think all of us have gone through a journey in which we try to optimize. I'll give you an example of Nestle. We are a FMCG company, and to be very, very honest, GST was always coming from last 10 years, right? So before 2017. So we always said we will see how it comes, and we did not invest much in our downstream supply chain. When GST came, we realized that the infrastructure that we were sitting with was not good enough, was not fit enough for future growth. if the ambition of the company was to go from $2 billion to $5 billion in the next 10 years, the infrastructure, the downstream supply chain capability was not good enough to support that. So then we started a journey. We had 38 distribution centers, and when we realized none of them were fit for future for the next 5 to 10 years, then we did our DNR, we did Ramasoft, and blah, blah, blah. We narrowed down to 44 points that we should have our distribution center for efficient go to customer. So we have to close down all 38, start 24 new. But they could be in similar cities like Wuhan and Mumbai and Guwahati, move to a better location. But when we started the exercise and we got in touch with all the 3PLs and developers, we realized that the challenge is huge because people had the development plan from these developers and 3PLs, as you rightly said, was in tier 1 cities. The moment I started going to Salem, and I started going to Guwahati, Silchar, and even Lucknow and Jaipur, the infrastructure is not there. So then what do you do? Because we don't have logistics park, then you have to get into bid to suit and bid to suit solutions are not very efficient because when doing only for you, there's no shared warehouse facility. So in last 5 years, I've seen the change. By talking to all these people, they are realizing that the potential in tier 2 and tier 3 cities is very high. If I look at ACV's data, there are 11 million outlets for FMCG products in the country. More than 6.5 billion of that are in tier 3, tier 4, and rural towns. So there's a huge opportunity, and most of the FMCG companies have a share of 20 to 30% in rural sales, but which is not direct, it is indirect. So, and we have seen during COVID that the resilience from these tier 3, tier 4 cities and rural population was much faster. Get back to our sales much faster post-COVID than the metros. So there's a huge potential. Now the issue is we have to put a business case. And the business case is not an incremental sale versus cost to serve in the infrastructure. The business case is what are we going to do in next 10 years? What is the opportunity? What is the potential? Do we have the right portfolio? Do we have the right portion size? Because if you go to small towns, the aspiration of a small kid to eat a Kit Kat is the same of a kid in Delhi to eat Kit Kat. Right? Now I have to make sure that I do not give him a portion size which is 50 bucks. Can I make a portion size of 10 bucks? It's the same product. And then similar. Now that is a business case, and then how do I design the route to customers? So the tier 2, tier 3 cities has to see development, a lot of government initiatives are coming in. I'm very hopeful that the WCC, the direct trade corridors, and other infrastructure which is coming up will directly help because once you have the access, the logistics infrastructure will develop. And we have to collaborate. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to collaborate with developers and say, guys, I need to go to Guwahati, I need to go to Salem, I need to go to Raipur, build the infrastructure. Okay, and we'll go together. So once we have infrastructure and once we have a business case that there is a demand consumption, then we will put the two pieces together. So I think as supply chain professionals, we have to do both of things. To make sure that a good business case for us to grow a business, understand the aspiration of consumers, give them the right portfolio, right product, right price point, and build a good customer, and it will follow. So as we all know in supply chain, we never have full visibility of how we will do it. We start and we find a way. I'm very sure we will find a way and that's the way to go. So I'm very hopeful that in next 10 years, the growth will come from tier 3, tier 4, and rural area. The companies which will go there faster, the right proposition.
Thank you so much. Very insightful to know about, what you're experiencing and your future plans are for these markets. I think I would like to, get thoughts on, ma'am, your thoughts around, you heard Mr. Ashish tell us that, there are aspirational consumers here. How is the government looking at these consumers and, what is the thought behind, reaching out to them? What is the government doing to create these consumers' aspirations to be met?
Thank you so much. We've already mentioned that what government can do is give you the platform. when we, as a local thing, what we can do is facilitate a good connectivity, a direct connectivity, and not just to, for example, Guwahati, but to every other, not just the capital or not the northeastern states, but also to the tier 2, tier 3 cities which are located there. So to have the vast network, and I just also add one very interesting thing now when we look at creating a Shakti. Whenever a project is coming to us, what has changed? People ask. This is the most common question which I keep hearing. So earlier, for example, when Bharatmala 1 Yojana, which is the National Highway Network Yojana, it was planned by Ministry of Road Transport Highway in a very good manner, but similarly. So what they did was that they did an amazing planning as per the road network requirement of the country. Now, what is happening when they are doing the Bharatmala 2 Yojana? Because of PM Gati Shakti, it has come to something called as network planning group, where you have the planning head of 7 ministries, which is all the 4 transport ministry. You have power, you have telecom, MNRE as well. So now, when we are talking about an infrastructure, we are not talking in silos. We are also seeing that if, for example, a national highway is being planned, we are seeing that what are the industrial nodes which are nearby. And we are not saying that this is just 50 kilometers away from an industrial node. What we are saying is, please assess what is the present condition of connectivity to this industrial node, whether you need to supplement it with your national highway network, whether you want the states to augment it. And see, in most of the scenarios, this last mile connectivity is not catered by anyone. So we have asked them to keep some kilometers, which I will not say the number, but some additional kilometers have been kept in scheme, which is being decided via PM Gati Shakti to give last mile connectivity to these nodes. So if a highway is being planned, it is not just an alignment where you can say, oh, this highway is going to be just 10 kilometers from an industrial town. We are saying that please also make a spur and connect this industrial town while you're doing it. Not just that, we are also saying, it's very common problem which you see is that, there will be a railway network and a fantastic highway, and there's a loading station, but that last mile is not there. So none of the industry would like to make that modal shift because that last stretch of connectivity to railway will be so bad. We do not want that turnaround time to increase so much. So we are also telling the highway people that, okay, when you're doing this, please do this as well. Make sure that the good shell is also connected. We're also talking about power connectivity, we're also talking about telecom connectivity. So whenever a new highway is being planned right now, they are coming with a utility corridor, where you have space for putting, whether you have to put a OFC cable or any kind of telecom network which can be either given to a private bidder or by the government who wants to put. So you cannot, like we're talking about a digital age. You cannot just have a road connectivity to a town which is not digitally also connected. Everything is almost everything is online. Yesterday I was hearing a number that to reach the 5 million customer digitally, the concept took only 2.5 months, whereas it was in years for almost everything else. So now we are also thinking like that. We are also trying that we have a complete connectivity. So whenever a project is coming, for example, it is coming from Northeast, a lot of them are coming to us. We are focusing a lot on rail connectivity, road connectivity, internet connectivity to the last available town where we can go to. And we are also not just thinking about Northeast connectivity, but also diplomatically thinking about how we can do the routes which we have been hearing about via Bangladesh and everything. Even that is under consideration. How to reduce that time if you can go via Bangladesh and reach the other northeastern states. How that can also improve your reach, how that can reduce your time. And you are already seeing a lot of steps have already been taken. The railway connectivity via Bangladesh has led to a lot of decrease in time and a lot of efficiency as well.
Thank you so much. Very insightful to know about the government's plans for the future also. I think I would also invite Mr. Bhavi to share his views about
I would like to add to here what Mohan said right now. Like this national logistics policy and everything is working on the overall scenario of connecting the country. I would like to talk about a project that is going on right now that I know of because we are involved in it. We are working with some of the government organizations like CWC and FCI and all, who have huge land banks across the country. So right now we are working on a PPP project wherein government is providing the land banks and we are investing on the infrastructure and developing and making ready the facilities with grade A class or A plus infrastructure with all the modern ancillaries and equipments to handle the storage requirements and material movements. So primarily and most importantly, all these locations are in the prime areas of the country. We have signed up for almost 110 locations. So like today, if you need a good warehousing location in Mumbai, inside the city, in Delhi, or even tier 2, tier 3 towns like maybe Raipur or maybe Ranchi, then there is a shortage of place. Forget the cost. There is no space available. So, but government is sitting on this huge land bank and that is being put to good utilization. And these are very prestigious and very ambitious project that government is uh, pursuing very aggressively. Right? And I would like to say they are much faster than us corporates while working on this project.
No, I completely agree. I think, the way, even the railways who has huge land, how they are also, coming up and saying, okay, how can we support this growth? It's tremendous to see from all the way. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I think, this brings me to a very pertinent and very important question is that, if we all look at the tier 2, tier 3 rural areas, the network there is all very traditional, number one. Number two, it is fragmented, and number three, it is unorganized. And this is how it has been for decades now. So, Salem, we know, is a manufacturing hub. Surat is a garments manufacturing hub. These are tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And then the people, the traders who are buying these, garments, for example, a sari which is produced in Surat and is sold in a rural area costs about 300 to 400 rupees per sari, right? It is produced at 80 to 150 rupees in Surat. Then it moves to tier 2, tier 3 cities, which can be, like Jhansi or Kanpur. There is a trader now sitting here who sell it to the rural traders. Now, this all movement, I'm just taking an example of Assam, but all the products move to the supply chain like this, from tier 2, tier 3 city. And larger manufacturers being one, but there are those smaller manufacturers who we have not even heard of. The brands are not even known because they are no brand, they are just commodities selling these products, whether it's food and beverages, whether it's sarees, whether it's lighting equipment, etc. You can take any of the products, but they have the reach in these rural areas. Now, it's very, heartening to see that this network which is already there, and if you go to a transport number of any smaller city, you will find that transport number is confined. These traders come and get their goods or they pick up the goods from their shops, and then it is distributed to these. It's fragmented. There is I can name a few transporters like Munna Bhai Transporter, Shakti Transport, Sonu Transport. All these guys are operating there for decades now, right? They do operate one truck or two trucks every day between two cities. And that's how the fragmented reach of these, town cities is operated today. Going forward, when we are looking at the 70% population, which today consumes 55% of our retail, spends, tomorrow this will be about 60 to 70% of the total spend that they will be consumed. Do you think that this fragmented network of transporters, which are family driven, single owner, or non-tech oriented, right, will be able to support this kind of growth? Or players, who are already operating will come in and set up their networks. Because today, if you see the total $220 billion of spend on logistics, organized, if I see, put all together big names like CFS, Gati, TCI, Navel, etc. and all, hardly contribute to what, 1%? Not even 1% of the total spend, that is. The rest 99% spend is all controlled by these fragmented small players. So what is the opportunity there? So there, I would like to get thoughts of Mr. Shpal, how do you, see this huge challenge which stares us along with infrastructure development of warehousing, build to suit or, logistics parks or government aiding the infrastructure development. How is this going to shape up?
Well, very interesting thought, of course, and very important aspect of the business. When we spoke of Gati Shakti and we speak of the larger policies, and what I just mentioned that a lot of the three transport modes, air, ocean, and rail, they connect point to point, but it is the trucking that actually connects the last mile or the first mile, and it's one of the most important aspects of the entire supply chain. And when we say that a lot of this is fragmented, of course, for years, that has been for decades, the transportation, the road transportation network in India has been highly, highly fragmented. We've had multiple, and the names that you just said, many, many more names, who will be very local, probably either operating intra-city or intercity, maybe just connecting two cities with 1, 2, 4, 5 stars. But I also tell you that they are very, very efficient. I mean, while there is a huge opportunity to bring in more efficiency, but I would also say that there is a very, very thorough optimization of their capacities by themselves. India works very differently to the Western world. A small solo transport in some part of the country will probably have a much better data, much better optimization of their trucks than probably the bigger thing that you just mentioned. But is the opportunity there to consolidate this? Absolutely yes. Technology will help us do that. We've had a lot of companies coming in and create an organized network throughout the country, plug into the other means of transportation, and offer customers better visibility and a more timed delivery. So there is definitely a lot of opportunity for organized players to play a larger role and probably either acquire some of these smaller players, consolidate them, maybe do an aggregation of these available capacities, Uberize them. So aggregating those capacities so that there is an optimization of wherever that empty leg is. I mean, when we talk of logistics costs, I mean, logistics costs in India, as for me, is comparable to anywhere in the world. We are very, very tough negotiators. I'm sure Nestle's of the world are very tough in when they negotiate, and the pricing actually sits very, very competitive to anywhere in the world in all these transportation. The only area where there is probably an issue is the idling cost of stocks. And a lot of these road networks would help us in optimizing that. You want a larger shelf life for your product so you can sell it, rather than putting it on a truck or in a warehouse where it is just sitting waiting for it to be sold.
Thank you, thank you. I think, Ashish, what are your thoughts about it? Because you will be also utilizing these local players. How do you see the future, going forward?
I think from my perspective, there is some level of consolidation will happen. Some level of standardization will happen. The requirement that companies have, the more and more demand that we have for safety, quality, reliability, telematics, will make sure that the organized players come in and, but the solo transporters is all will coexist. When modern trade format came to India in 2004, 2005, we all had to take, Indian trade by storm, and maybe 50% of our sales will move to non-trade. Then e-com emerged, and through COVID, we said e-com is going to be, going to take over, and the mom and pop store still has a relevance in the country. It will continue to have this relevance. So out of the 11 million outlets that I was talking about, modern trade outlets have put all of them together is less than 50,000. So these are the mom and pop stores, and they will continue. Similarly, the transport, the organized transport share will increase, right? Consolidation will happen. Big players will come in and invest, but the small transporters will remain, And we are very relevant also because the big guys will come and look at Mickey Lanes, like, your Mumbai Delhi is the first priority, right? But priority from Guwahati to Silchar is not there. Who's going to come out there? So the regional players, the small players will remain, and the objective for us is to tap them, get them relevant, build a little bit of their standards and capabilities, so we can use them. We actually want to use them because when the truck is not fitted up, it's not standardized. Right? The safety of the driver, the training of the driver, and so on and so forth. So there, then it becomes a logo. So then you need to unlock that. If I unlock that, I personally believe we can reduce a lot of transport costs. So these guys are users. They're not going to work with inefficiency. So they will put maybe the organized service industry will increase, but by and large, the footprint will not change.
I agree. I think, these are some people who are there who've been running the business for decades. They know the local areas, they know the dynamics there. The only thing, as you rightly mentioned, is that, it's about standardization, safety, trainings that will help them, to overcome these challenges. So that's the future. We also touched a little bit about the, use of tech in these areas. Technology will be something which will be, in the next decade or so, helping these fragmented distribution network as well as the transporters, etc. So, Karthik, what are your thoughts around this technology? How will it shape up the, tier 2, tier 3, as well as rural supply chain, and how will it help to strengthen the supply chain?
So basically, I will take the example of what facilitated as a government doing over the period of time. Earlier, you know that you find that road is being constructed, but it's waiting for authorities and approvals from the Ministry of Railway. But as one like to say that over the period of time, Ministry connected together, either it's man-to-man or through technology. CVSCL set the example right for the private sector and corporates to come together. Another thing which created the demand and awareness in the mind of people is this e-commerce service. The way they showcase that there is a possibility to deliver the goods in 4 hours, in 24 hours, or 48 hours, and they deliver. So there are technologies available with the help of AI, blockchain, machine learning. What is required here as a user, I feel, is connecting the dots. There are various ways, like as an organization, we have multiple transporters, multiple warehouse partners, but we need to operate from different platforms they have. There is no common platform for a corporate to look at how the view is in terms of distribution, in terms of warehousing. So, if with the use of technology, startups, which is much talked about in India, unicorns much talked about in India, if we work towards it, then there is a platform like in the launch of national logistic policy. I was doing to the conference where a government came up with a platform where multiple entities can come together, work on that platform, and corporates can take use of that one platform to go into multiple places. Same way private players come in and help to bring in that development with the help of digital. We can use that to reduce not only time, improve the efficiency and larger amount of the cost of efficiency.
Very good. Very relevant. Technology is going to be very, very relevant. Because you wanted to also, discuss technology, you are utilizing it in some of the other means.
Yes, we use a lot of IT and a lot of tech developments. Basically, what technology has invoked is it has demonstrated a very basic principle of economics, that is expansion of market. Right. Before the e-commerce or tech was there popular, right? The rural market, the tier 2, tier 3 markets had no option. But with advent of technology, with advent of internet, with advent of e-commerce, now a whole new gamut of consumers have opened, which was not previously on the table altogether. So the first of all, technology is making realize that it is making connections possible. Like the usage of technology, like the way we were talking about the fragmented transporters, right? So the consolidation will happen only with the use of technology. And that we are already doing. I'm sure many organizations, many companies are already quite ahead. And fortunately and proudly, India is now a leader in world for providing IT and other hardware technologies. So we have a very good, bright future ahead with the usage of technology. And as far as supply chain is considered, it is going to definitely benefit. I would like to like to bring forth a common phenomenon which I am sure many would have realized but never have thought of such importantly. When we look back at this COVID era, we all know, like, people realize the importance of supply chain, and supply chain as a major talking point came up. But when we were sitting in home for 2 months lockdown, did any of us face difficulty to have the basic necessities? No. Just imagine if 2 months nothing is working out there, nobody is out there, nobody is working, and everything is on standstill. But still, every day you are getting milk at your doorstep. You are getting vegetables every day, groceries every day, medicines every day. That is no stopping to it. So this is where the technology, the consolidation, these fragmented parts of the industry all come into play. So this was made possible by technology.
Right. Thank you. I think, actually you touched upon a very important part, which is the generated versus the modern trade and e-commerce. Now, in the tier 1 cities or metro cities, say, 14 that we have, there is a very pertaining open channel, as we call it, which is there for two services. With the emergence of modern trade and e-commerce now reaching tier 2 cities, at least not tier 3, how do you see the supply chain shaping up, general trade versus e-commerce and modern trade in your source areas? Because that's going to shape the future also in these smaller areas.
So in my view, for the grocery trade, the supply chain network that we designed is very, very interesting to the government. Like, I believe that this is the best way to reach the customer. This is the most efficient size, location, and all of that. But when it comes to e-commerce and modern trade and when they evolve, you have to do a joint collaboration because they have their own plans. Like if you look at Reliance, the number of sectors that they're talking about is huge. They have only 200, now they're talking 2,000 fulfillment centers. Now I cannot have a supply chain which is running, which is disconnected to the supply chain of such a service provider. So I think we have to start working together. We have to start mapping that what these players are doing. Okay? And then we have to decide and we have to pivot our supply chain and align with it. We have to work together, but not only in logistics, for warehousing, but also planning, fulfillment, portfolio, everything. So I see that from a company specific inside view of working will change to a collaborative view where they will work with these partners and work with their interests and business management. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. This is a shift that I see. That today we decide what we want to do for profit. We will not do that in the future. We say, okay, what is best for this service provider, this business model, and what can we do?
Yeah. Ramesh, I think, from your perspective also it's important because you both work in the same FMCG space, and that is the most, product which has to be reached to these areas. I think, how do you see the differentiation between the e-commerce, modern trade versus the general trade in the future years of these areas?
Yeah, so as Ashish said, the consumer has enough choice to order or get them aggregate from any of these channels, whether it is the mom and pop shop, or whether orders on e-commerce, or whether goes to the nearby, the big store it goes. So it's like, consumer is now has many choices. And of course, those choices are available in the mostly in the A-town, tier 1 town. But when it comes to the tier 2, yes, tier 2 also, we are seeing that, there is a quite big emergence of the modern trade and as well as the e-commerce. So very well, I think, as in now, to the tier 2 towns that we have established. Though, there has been, the recently there have a lot of, mergers and acquisitions in both, the e-commerce and as well as modern retail. That has brought some, the disruption to the whole, actually, this the equilibrium which was, being set up, but I'm sure very soon that will be there. But I think infrastructure and, then the choices are definitely available till tier 2 town. Tier 3 is still, I think, it is emerging, the e-commerce as well as, the modern retail, because, it's a lot of investment is there, and this investment will come slowly. We have to be as, the producers and, as the manufacturers, we have to have, all the options open, and as I said, our supply chain, we have to constantly, I think we have to, keep on scanning the environment and see what is the right structure for the, for our, the supply chain. But yes, I think, the mom and pop shops, those are going to be there because, that's, really, I think I don't think that's going to be going on because it gives a lot of convenience to a lot of, people. So, it's basically, it's a mix of, all these channels, which is there, and then as a producers, we should be continuously evaluating what is, the best, mix of it, and then where should be our infrastructure should be located, and how efficiently we can service to all these three channels or four channels, whatever, the channels are happening. So it's going to be very interesting time actually. For me.
So I think as a producer and manufacturer of these goods, you definitely do not operate this supply chain yourself. You also see, network and stuff. So what is the ask from these, service providers who work with you as business partners to strengthen the teams in this area? What do you think is required for the next 5 years, 10 years?
I think, the requirement is definitely, the one is that, the speed of delivery, that is one. Secondly, how safely our products are reaching, because, the challenges which is, currently, as, we were discussing earlier, that because three towns, don't have a small transporters up there, which is, could be very efficient for that particular city, let's say, I have to send my goods to Barnet, and Barnet is actually, Barnet is, we also have a scale that in Jaipur, and it's going there, it has been going. But then when actually, sometimes it happens that you receive, the consumers or customers complain that it's actually whatever we have received is damaged. So the quality of actually our, delivery is still, I think, it lacks a lot, which is, that when we are shipping it to the, small, hardwood, the shipments, which is happening. So the requirement, from the producers and industry would be that, speed, second, the quality of the delivery, which means it should not be damages and shortages should not be there, it should be safely, and the cost will come later on because the cost will not be primary criteria. Primary criteria would be, I say, the quality and the speed.
Thank you so much. I think it will give a lot of insight to research what they need to do in the next decade or so to meet the needs of producers. I think there is one more thing which the government is doing, which is, I believe, the multi-mode transport and investment which is coming up. There is a lot of rail and sea connectivity that is being worked out. The other is that, we see a lot of airports getting opened in tier 2 and tier 3. I think that's something which our Honorable Prime Minister is driving himself, and I think because he's there to open every airport himself.
Right, so I think, with this air connectivity and multimodal connectivity, how do you see this, merging and connecting these tier two and tier three cities? And will it aid the, and fuel the growth of these?
So, it's not just the airports which are coming up, but now we are also thinking about helipads. And how we can have helipads and in farthest of the corner. And to give you an example, you have a lot of industrial setups. If you talk about steel industry, Kanchi, Kalina, this is where you go. And the nearest airport, you have Bhubaneswar and airstrip at Qatar. And if you want to have this, movement from one place to another, people who are quick visits and all, then air connectivity is something which is pertinent to it. So, government is not just thinking about opening airports, but we are also visualizing how many more helipads can be formed, which can be, during normal time can be used for the movement of people, but also during the disaster time can be used for the efforts. Whether it's, and it is very, very important in northeastern areas where you have the climate condition or the topography is as such that helipads are actually there for the last mile connectivity. Another interesting is the roadway connectivity, which is also being envisaged in the country. It was one of the, when last year the budget announcement was done, talked about the 7 engines of growth. And roadway was also one of them. So that is also being taken into big, though we have not heard of the projects right now, but that is also under consideration, also under planning. So the airports, helipads, ropeways, and the drone network for the last mile connectivity. So government is focusing in all of that, how we can have the better connectivity via drone, which has been established in, last 2 years at least, that last mile connectivity can, and drones can be a big game changer in that. So all of this is being envisaged. The only problem about opening airports when it comes to tier 2 or tier 3 city is that when you work on a financial model, you also have to see the capacity of that particular area, and it's chicken and egg problem. Will you have the airport and then you will get the people, or will you have the people first, cargo first, and then you think of opening an airport? And it's not always a very easy decision, especially. So we are thinking about a lot of people projects and they're coming, a lot of foreign investment, FDIs, which you can think about. But yes, like you mentioned, it is on the radar, it is on the agenda, and we are working and we are also good solution. If you have some good suggestions or, in this regard, we have to get it.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, Dash, you have been in the service industry and I think the air freight to a large extent. There are two sets of questions I would like to get your views on. One is the domestic air network, how it is shaping up with the, now helipads also I would add along with the airports. How will that aid the growth to these areas? And the second is that, there are a lot of small manufacturing hubs situated in tier 2 cities. For example, Ludhiana, it's a huge hub for housing, right? Now people from there export globally also. So ocean connectivity and their connectivity to these smaller towns where these manufacturing or trading hubs are, where they can open up to the globe. How do you see this, connectivity shaping up in the next 5 years?
Thank you, Chetan. I'm glad air is being spoken about. I'm also president of the Air Council of India, and we engage with Ministry of Civil Aviation very, very closely. I'm part of the cargo advisory group with the Honorable Minister. And as we just heard, that government is working faster than us, and it is very, very clearly emphasized by the entire group, including this panel, did not speak about the ideas that she just mentioned about the ropeway or the helipads, the drones. And there is a lot of active work which is happening behind all three of these projects, apart from the air cargo. 450 odd routes have been operationalized under UDAN scheme. I think more than 70 airports have been operationalized under UDAN. And if you look at the last, say for example, 1,000 years of GDP growth of the world, you would see the last 100 years contributing the fastest growth
in terms of percentage and in absolute terms. And you know why? That was on the back of aviation. You could move people as well as goods fastest in these 100 years than you could do in the previous 1000 years. So this is the power that aviation brings to the world. And this is also one of the thoughts that I would leave, because there are lots of end customers here, that I just mentioned some time back that you want to sell your product and you want to sell it while it is in fashion, while it has the best shelf life. So don't spend too much of time using a mode of transportation, which will enhance the idle time of the good. Now, multimodal is going to remain very, very essential. In India, less than 1% of goods move on the waterways, whereas in some of the developing countries, it is way above in double digits. And India does have a lot of effective riverbeds where government is working on those projects as well. The intermodal or multimodal connectivity will be an absolute game changer for the industry. For a consumer, for a manufacturer, it is very important to have the best means of transportation for their goods. We just heard Ramesh talk about the quality of delivery as well as speed. So the third element, which is cost, is also extremely important. And you need to have a mix of all means of transportation to be used to cater to each and every product. So air cargo will remain very, very prominent. There is a lot of investment which is going in from the government. The government also will release subsidies in the form of Krishi Maan, under the Krishi Maan for the some of the fruits and vegetables routes. There is subsidy available. Not a lot of customers are taking it, so I really prompt customers to make use of something under that scheme. And we are also proposing to the government also to bring in more. When you say chicken and egg, ma'am, it is chicken and egg. For the supply chains of India to become more competitive, we need support from the government to support in terms of creation of these infrastructures, and also support some of the airlines and other stakeholders. While the scale sets in, we need support from the government to build that infrastructure and be able to make it cost competitive. The private sector will definitely work with you and support the supply chain.
Very interesting, I think, and I see this, the whole discussion being so positive, and I thank each and one of you for sharing your thoughts around this. Before we wrap up, I think I would like to open the floor for a few questions. I know there are a lot of questions. One hand, two hands. Okay, there are all three hands. So we have a lot of questions coming up. I think it would be great if we can have it more interactive and not a question answer. You can share your thoughts also, and we can do it. So please can you pass on the mic?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, is it open for the government only, or will it be open for private trade? Because most of the multimodal logistics park will be developed on PPP mode. Will they help, will anyone can help lobby to the private players, National Master Plan?
See, it has been just 1 year right now for the development, and at this moment, it is not open to private players, it is open to government and PSUs. The only reason being that there is a lot of data. There is a lot of data, and we are working on the security of it. But it is already in the discussion that once we are able to, right now there are too many layers. We don't need all of them, right? And there can be a lot of possible misuse also. There's always a component of that. What we are trying to do right now is that we are asking all the ministries that which all layers can be open for general public. Once that is done, and once we are, ready with our security setup, the idea is that you will have some kind of access to it. Not the complete access, because you don't need to know the revenue map of a country, right? You don't need to know that. But yes, you need to know about other things. You want to understand what is connectivity. You would like to get the idea which should be the preferred location and things like that without asking any other department or ministry about it. So you will have some amount of access, but at this moment it is difficult for me to tell you a timeline about that.
Thank you, ma'am. I had two questions.
Please,
More or
it
less.
would if you can, state your name.
Yeah, I am Sanjeev Sahu. I work with a startup which works in the semi sector. So I two questions. I think it's a combination of policy issue as well as the private sector participation. One, I would love to hear something about waterways, which unfortunately has not been explored much. It started a long time back during the era, and it's proven that the cost per kilometer is way lower than the railways or road. And we have exceptionally disproportionate logistics movement through roadways rather than any other mode. So when you are doing planning 20 years down the line, are you still going to be dependent on roadways? And how does the private sector look at it as the first or the major leg of the entire logistics network? My second question is kind of a thought which came out on the consolidation of the last mile players, which is the electric vehicles, or not just it does not reduces the cost no doubt, but there is a capex element which the smaller players will not be able to do. And related to that, of course, is the cold chain logistics. I think a lot of discussions around agro and Nestle, I think it would be about flexible versus non-flexible. And we see more of losses around that part. I think that cold chain logistics, how do you see that development in that sector, digitization, the capex, and if government can support it in some.
So, we want to address this question to Ma'am and on the whole panel.
I was just saying that I was hoping to get less questions. Waterways, yes, it's very important. We have already seen, I think this 2-3 days back, we flagged the, National one of the longest river cruise in the world. So, obviously, everyone's thinking about the national waterway development. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 development. Discussion from a long time, you are absolutely correct that they have been discussed since very long time, and the results are not as fast as the discussion. A lot of problems associated with it. The movement, the development of jetties or the rivers which are crossing through heavily populated city. The planning of the terminals there itself was not a very easy task. Also, the depth of the river. If you have perennial river, that's a different thing. If you have a seasonal river, it becomes problem. But most of the national waterways which have already been identified are undergoing development right now. And IWA, the Indian Waterway is drastically moving very fast in that direction. In fact, I said in past year, there have some lot of terminals being opened, or a lot of services which are being opened. And again, from my perspective, from where I'm sitting in logistics, we are also looking at that. So when we are discussing projects, we also involve someone from IWS. Whenever we invite them to that person also comes. And we also discussed with him that if there is a possibility, if he needs a connection of road to a terminal, for example, if it is non-existing, because that was another major area. When in northeastern states, they wanted to develop the terminal, the issue which was coming was that the present connectivity from the road, from the major road, was very different. It was passing through a very populated area, for example. So we are also trying to work around those areas, but hopefully I was hopeful that things will move faster. Coaching, I think, you want to know the policy thing on. So again, the problem in warehousing, and everyone has mentioned that it's very fragmented. You have CWC, you have states, different warehouse, different standard, no fixed rules that you have to follow, nothing like that. Even for us, it was difficult to sort of consolidate everything under one because as a government, you cannot have a high-handedness to it either. If you try to make rules for everyone, then it's a problem that you're restricting the business in some manner. What we did last year was that we came up with some sanitization guidelines, which was one of them which was saying that if you do that, you will be utilizing things better. We are also cold chain logistics we talk about. It's very important because, especially during COVID, it was realized that whether it's the cold chain warehouse or the refrigerated container, everything was in shortage, led to a lot of spoiling of goods, lot of inefficiency. Again, an area where government is working with that, and again, we are also expecting the industry to do this. What kind of like you need from us in policy will be very difficult and us. That is something that is where we can intervene. But other than that, making of that infrastructure, that responsibility lies, that's it. So that's on you.
For cold chain, I would request you to look up NCCD, National Cold Chain Development Policy. A lot of work is going on there.
Yeah, I want to add that Pavnesh used to lead that NCT initiative. I was started about some 7 years back. And there was a lot of data and the work done by the government side on that. Or the other side is take up from there and set up these coaching.
Thank you so much, panel. It was very enriching discussion. My name is Shami Dua. I have worked for more than 2 decades as an industry practitioner and currently working as a consultant with AT Carbon. My question is regarding, and I'm available. Regarding one of our logistics giant department, which is somewhat in a slumber in this revolution that's happening, and I'm talking about India Post. And why I call them a giant is because of their network, the reach that they go to the interiors and TSP towns. And second is they have got fantastic knowledge of the address details which are not really existent. The addresses are very vague of the village addresses, like next to the people, next to the temple. There's no addresses. So your views on this of India Post participating in this situation?
When we started, if you go back 50 years back, the draft of national policy was formed first. But in between, the idea of university came and we decided let's have university first because it will immediately address some infrastructure issues. And in the meantime, we can have university policy supplementary. When university came up, the idea was to look only at the infrastructure ministry. We were not talking about any social ministry. And Indian Post was not counted as one of the infrastructure ministry, to be very honest. 2 months back, we started also thinking that, how we can onboard some other ministries now that it has been taken up very well by the infrastructure. And Indian Post is one of the, Department of Post was one of the departments which we approached. And we already started the integration with them. Right now, what we are pursuing is that we are trying to integrate that system into PMS so that we can also leverage their storage facilities or whatever in-house strength they have and integrate it with the overall infrastructure planning. This is what we are doing. But if you have more suggestions of how we can utilize that better, we'll be very happy to hear that. So please come over anytime or drop us a mail if you think that how it can be better integrated in any kind of planning or any kind of policy. That intervention can obviously do this.
Hello, my name is Naveen Gupta. I am from the JK Tires. Hi Karthik. Hi. Okay, this is addressed to ma'am. Not a question, but you asked for a suggestion that that cargo or people first or the infrastructure first. And my point on this is that as a government should not think about the ROI. Government should think about the impact. So that's my suggestion on it. I mean, it's not always ROI.
No, absolutely, you're very correct. I'll give you an example. Very recently, what we did was we did a whole audit for all the ports in the country. And when we're talking about ports, I'm not talking about the 12 most major ports. I'm talking about the 87 operational ports, including the one in the Andamans, and 250 plus major, non-major operational, non-operational ports of the country. And what we did was that we saw where is the last mile connectivity available, where it is not available. Then we also try to negotiate with both road and rail that based on whatever road is needed everywhere. But at least for rail, we need some component. But even then, we sort of negotiated and asked them that for few ports to develop, until unless few things are made, last mile connectivity things are done, it will not happen. So when I say it's not always that we are looking for the returns on it. We always say that even for PPP, people will invest in a butterfly, not in a caterpillar. And caterpillar to butterfly transformation is on government too. So absolutely agree on that point. But yes, for that's, I should say, first you think of road, then rail, and then airport. That's the only problem. And we're trying to bridge that gap as fast as possible. But at times we might be able to address the road and rail faster than think about the airports. I think we will try to match that speed and we will reduce that distance in the thought process. And I hope that will come soon.
Thank you. And I have a question to Karthik. We spoke about IT playing a big role in the entire supply chain that we know, or the futuristic supply chain. And we talk about the scale that it can bring, and it is bringing in a lot of consolidation, like all the Mulma Bhai and all those small transporters will eventually be part of some cartel or they will form a consolidation under some IT company. So within the IT segment, we see a lot of fragmentation. Though it is bringing the consolidation, but still we see a lot of fragmentation there. We see that WMS is one platform, and you spoke about, there are many platforms that as a user we have to use. Then we have TMS, then we have ERPs, then we have, a lot of visibility tools, but they all are, standalone solutions, IT solutions. You spoke about one platform where government is asking them, to come on the one stage, and what was that platform? Can you just?
That's usually, right? It's usually where multiple organizations come together, and that's a base platform where you can access.
So the industry has to,
Yeah, you need to register, but it's in the, I would say, nurturing phase. It will take time to take shape. But yeah, at least initiative as a facilitator of setting example is well in place.
So that's something, I throw challenge to the industry, especially the people who are coming into the solution in IT, that, how to bring all these platforms together and give the solution to
As a product, Mr. Karthik has already answered. As a policy, Mr. Karthik has already answered. But as a product, what you can get, I will demonstrate in my presentation. I'm going to do that.
Thank you so much. I think we are running out of time, and ma'am has a flight to catch. So we can take this conversation outside during the lunch hour, and we are all available here during the lunch, and we can take the questions there. Right. So I'll just try to sum up what we've been able to discuss in the last 1 hour or so. One is that there are 4 C's that I have some consumer, collaboration, connectivity, and commitment. I think these are the 4 C's that are required from all the thoughts that you've shared. Government and private collaboration, similarly collaboration between the producers and the service providers. Consumer, which is becoming more affluent in these tier 3 cities, and the commitment required as from the transporters, from the service providers, their commitment towards safety, trading perspective, and of course the connectivity of the network, which is through roadways, through waterways, through multimodal transportation, even drones and helipads as we have learned today. I think I would like to also thank each one of you. It was a very, very insightful discussion, and thank you, please. Thank you.
Insightful discussion that was a great start to the event. Please stay back, everyone. I think people in the country, irrespective of their location, education, and age, are reaping the benefits of digital storm. Gaming events starts from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and as these cities and towns have reached the point of saturation, it now becomes imperative to boost the supply chain infrastructure and connectivity to these cities, equipping them with all the required facilities to further augment that growth. In that sense, I am positive that regional and small players will play a big role along with technological integration. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time that we felicitate our speakers to present the mementos. I'd like to invite Mr. Harshit Srivastava, CEO and co-founder Intergy, on the stage, please. take them. We have Mr. Ashish Pandey, Head Supply Chain South Asia Nestle. Mr. Ashish Pandey, everyone. Mr. Ramesh Srivastava, Vice President Supply Chain and Technicals. Please give him a big round of applause. Mr. Yashpal Sharma, MD Skyways Group. Please put your hands together for Mr. Sharma. Star Group Panel, Ms. Nimisha Joshi Garupada, Deputy Secretary Logistics, DPRS, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Vishal Kothari, Director, Ethics Group. Mr. Vishal Kothari, everyone, please give him a round of applause. Mr. Karthik Shah, Regional Manager, APAC Logistics and Hunter. Please give him a big round of applause. And it's time for our wonderful moderator, Mr. Chetan Kumria, Managing Director, Excel Supply Chain Solutions. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You may please proceed and get seated. हमारे अगले पैनल डिस्कशन में बात होगी टेक्नोलॉजी और उसे अपनाने में आने वाली दिक्कतों के बारे में। वैसे तो ट्रेंड चाय पे चर्चा का है, पर मौसम का तकाजा ऐसा है कि पहले चाय हो फिर चर्चा हो और साथ में नेटवर्किंग भी हो जाए, तो वो तो सोने का स्वभाव हो जाता है। So my dear audience, please help yourself to tea and snacks served just outside the ballroom. We meet here in another 15 minutes for some insightful presentations.